that we're in where the outside can't come in, you're in a mask all day long, your hair is tied back all day because you're hot from wearing a mask, and I haven't worn makeup in 6 months. Wow. So I have to say, I was pretty excited to come in, and my car just drove me to my office.
Yeah. Oh, well, that happens. The office is nice and hermetically sealed, so that's always good.
And I already poured my hot coffee, because Dave's like, come on in, just take a drive over. I'm like, well, then I'd have to leave my hot coffee. So choices, right? Sorry, guys, you're skin fiddle to the coffee.
That's funny. You get in your car, and you just, I'm going to get the sides mixed up here, but you say, okay, left brain, think about what I got to do today. Right brain, drive me where I got to go.
That's right. It's like autopilot.
It's like, and next thing you know, you're... This is not where I wanted to be.
I'm a little extra. See, I had a sleepover at my house last night. My kids had their cousin over, and they didn't go to bed till after 12. And for me, that is like I'm in bed by 8:30. I am just not 100% today, so it's probably best I'm not with you in person.
And next week, you get the kids going back to school, right? Next week.
Yes, you probably won't see me then either.
All right, okay.
But will we hear you? That's the important thing.
See you around Christmas, guys.
So was that the last sleepover before school starts kind of thing?
I don't know. I might get suckered into another one this weekend. I think this was more helping my sister out who had to leave for work early in the morning, and my nephew was, end of the summer they get a little lonely and bored being by themselves all day, while mom and dad have to work, so.
Okay. Very good. All right, we did have a note that's been written in, and you can write one in as well to coffee@OneSocketRadio.com. It just says, City of Champions. The new City of Champions might be, what do you think, Tim? In terms of sports.
In terms of sports?
Yeah.
Milwaukee?
Tampa Bay.
Oh, Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay Lightning are looking good in the Stanley Cup,
True.
And we got Tampa Bay Rays are doing very well in the American League East.
Buccaneers.
And then there's the Buccaneers with Brady and Gronk. So
one would think that
the writer is saying.
Yeah, well,
so,
could be right.
The Lightning look like the team to beat for the Cup. The Rays look they're going to win the American League East, and the resurgent Tampa Bay Bucks have been given the tremendous boost with Tom Brady and Gronkowski, and a plethora of dynamite wide receivers. Yeah. So I haven't been following them, so it's like, okay, I hear they're talented, but, you got to play the game.
We're fortunate. 20 years for the most part of being just winning column and just in every sport. It's hard to argue that we shouldn't allow some other city to be called the City of Champions, right? And it's from an ego standpoint, it stinks, but all
right, they can have it for 1 year and then we want it back.
They want it back. Hey, you never know. You hear the Bruins are disappointing, but I think that was a lot because whatever Tuukka Rask's issues were, I think that torpedoed it for them. And then the Celtics are not horrible. They still have a chance of doing something.
They can go to the East. If they win tonight, they're on to the Eastern Conference Finals. So,
and then the Patriots. I was not excited when it was Jarrett Stidham. I thought, okay, well, we're just going to have to see what happens.
Okay.
Now I have to admit I have a little expectation.
I do too.
That Cam Newton's got a chip on his shoulder like a Brady-style chip.
Yeah.
And he's going to go out and hopefully
prove to the league,
not get hurt and do something.
Yeah.
And then what happens after that, I don't know. But at least it gives us a chance to give Stidham a little more time to develop.
And they're saying that as a wide receiver, N'Keal Harry is better.
Yeah.
This year, he was hurt most of last year, and then he had to come in the second half of the year. But new quarterback that he has to deal with, and they say he's looking very well. So
let's hope so.
Let's see if they can get open.
I know. I'd like to see if he can get open. That's really the issue, right?
Yes, it is.
But I think we'll be pleasantly surprised with the Patriots. I mean, I don't expect them to win the Super Bowl by any chance, but
never know.
Wouldn't you love to see a Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady Super Bowl, Tom Brady with the Buccaneers?
That would be really cool.
And Mahomes maybe win that one.
No.
I know.
Although they love him in Missouri.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He's a great young quarterback. No doubt.
He's the future there.
Yep.
It's gonna be weird seeing football with no fans.
With no fans.
I hope there'll be no cardboard cutouts. There'll be no superimposed graphics. Just leave it empty.
Just leave it empty. Everybody knows the drill.
Yeah, I know. That's right. So it'll be odd because, if no one gets open and Cam Newton runs and breaks open for like a 30-yard dash or something.
Bill Belichick cheering?
Who's cheering?
It's certainly not going to be Belichick.
Well, it'll be the players, and that's about it. But I'll be cheering from home, I guess.
On my couch.
So the game, first game is Sunday.
Yeah. Was it 1 o'clock?
Yes, against the Dolphins.
Unbelievable.
I'll be going to Foxborough today. I'm trying out for kicker.
Do they even have one yet? Did they sign Nick Folk?
You know, technically no, but figuratively, yes.
Yeah.
Folks on the practice squad.
Oh, okay.
So no teams put a kicker on the practice squad.
Yeah.
So they're just waiting until I don't know,
time.
Friday maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so and so, you're injured.
Yep.
I'm putting that in quotes,
Like
Melissa.
Andrew Benintendi.
Yes, you're injured. So you're going. You go on the IR. Oh, we need someone. Hey, Folk.
Yeah.
Now
go
you're
on
on
in.
the team.
Yes,
That's what I think's going to happen.
I know.
Probably.
Melissa, college sports up at like Holy Cross with your husband, that's still all kind of canceled up there, right?
Yeah, so fall's canceled. I mean, I think what you're hearing for a lot of schools like his, they're just moving the fall season to spring, which is going to just be a collision of all sorts for administrators like my husband who have to try to reschedule and restructure everything.
Yep.
And, also for like donors and sponsors and things on that level, so trying to just coordinate and organize that whole shift to the spring. But interestingly enough, the winter sports teams are actually arriving on campus. I think it's next week.
Wow.
Yeah, they'll start practice soon.
Yeah, so they've been granted special permission because Holy Cross is one of the few schools that started out the year virtually. And I have to say, seeing all the reports that I've been looking at of colleges across the country, they probably made a smart decision. They got a lot of pushback in the beginning, especially from the fall sports programs. But I think they might have made the smartest decision because I think all these colleges are now being criticized because they can't manage these kids and their behavior. They're just not aware.
Yeah.
And not being smart about their activities. But in terms of the sports, having the winter sports teams, the hockey, basketball, arriving next week, we'll see what happens with their season, if they're able to behave themselves and, train appropriately and stay in their dorm room in their little pods and not get tempted by any kind of partying or activity outside that campus. We'll see. So, to be a college kid again, right?
I know. Well, Joe, I think I heard you talking yesterday about Northeastern. And
yes, they kicked
11 kids
out.
Yep, sorry.
Wow.
And they kept their money.
We're keeping your money. Please leave.
36,000
each. It happened where?
You are right.
Yeah, but they didn't kick them out.
Oh,
They just kick them off campus.
There was too many of them to kick out.
God.
And they
Oh my
so
God.
they put out a strongly worded statement.
We're chastising you.
That's right.
With a wagging finger.
With a wagging finger, and don't do it again, or we're really going to be mad.
Catching slack.
That's what URI did. So, but from Holy Cross's standpoint, isn't this going to be a logistic nightmare? Then, if you move the spring fall football to the spring, it isn't going to collide with outdoor track
In the field.
It is.
that
It's
uses the same field.
It's a scheduling nightmare. Although
Okay.
at their campus, it's not the same field. Their outdoor football complex. They have two facilities for football. They have the outdoor field, which is a very old stadium, and there's no track option on that field. It's just literally a dedicated football field. And then they have an indoor turf field that was built a few years ago, prior to my husband's arrival, which is an amazing facility, but it's just theirs solely. So they shouldn't interrupt too much with the spring training program. I think it's more just about, staffing events and security and all those other logistical things that no one has to worry about when you're just a fan or a student. And I don't expect to see my husband pretty much from, I would say November forward. I think I'll, say goodbye, see him in July.
He'll stop in at Christmas. Say hello.
So we'll see. But.
So this won't be a problem for colleges, but it's a problem for high school athletes if they move football to the spring because there's kids. Tim, you knew them, and I knew them. I'm sure Melissa knew them. You played football and you played baseball.
Yep.
Well, now what do you do?
Yeah, pick the best sport.
Pick the one.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you could do both, but that's not.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. And how do you keep up with your schoolwork?
How do
I'm not sure they care about that.
Oh, all right. What's that, Melissa?
I said, and how do the parents get you everywhere? I mean,
I don't know.
They're the silent heroes, right? I mean, somehow your kids, you want them to do everything, and then moments like this, there's going to be a collision of two seasons at once. It was hard enough juggling one season or maybe a competitive league on top of that season, but to add two sports overlapping, two different I don't know. I don't even want to think about it yet, to be honest, so we'll just deal with that conversation when the time comes.
When the fall overlaps with the winter and the winter overlaps with the spring, the coaches, when I was going to school, just said if you were playing basketball and baseball season was started, you stuck with basketball until the end.
Yeah.
And then come join the baseball team.
Yeah.
And there's it took a week, maybe a week and a half, and then it stopped,
Yeah.
and then you could join baseball. But doing this football and baseball,
Yeah, I'm not sure I could do it.
or
No.
like
And
volleyball and outdoor track, I just don't know how you can do them both at the same time.
Yeah.
Get more stressed about the high intensity sports. So my girls play soccer, basketball, and lacrosse. So if we're moving soccer into the spring, which is what's being proposed, soccer and lacrosse, a middle school program on top of a competitive program on top of lacrosse competitive, it is not what we normally sign up for to have that much of an overlap. I'm just worried about the injuries. I'm worried about going from this idle state of 6 months of self-motivated training, which, let's be honest, with a teenager is bare minimal, and to push them into that almost over-trained status come February, March. I just think we're going to be seeing a lot of injuries too for these kids that just or they're just going to pop out and be lazy the rest of their lives.
But you must have laughed at this, Melissa, because I did when I read it, because the governor came out and said, well, fall sports can go ahead except for football. and volleyball because they're close contact sports. And I'm thinking, has she not seen a high school soccer game?
Yeah.
They are
right.
constantly crashing into each other.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the one thing my husband and I talked about is that my daughter is in a striker position, and if you know all the positions in soccer,
yeah, they score. They try to score.
Of course, but they're also the ones that get annihilated.
That's right. The defense slide into them.
It's all contact, and if you're not shoulder to shoulder and you're not pushing into each other, you're not playing the sport on the level it's at right now.
That's right.
But the other piece is the governor came out and said that. So we thought, okay, so middle school soccer's a go, right? And then the day after, the Interscholastic League, the principals committee, I guess it is, there's a subdivision, announced that middle school soccer would be canceled, but high school soccer would continue. But there's going to be all these parameters and rules. There's no contact, no throw-in, no penalty kicks. And now I'm looking at it
well,
and
now
I'm
you're
saying,
changing the game.
it's not even a game.
Yeah.
You're going to get a yellow card if you even come within 6 feet of another player. So now you're just playing. Yeah, you're just kicking the ball back and forth.
There'll be no running. Everybody just stand. It's like foosball.
Foosball, exactly.
Everybody just stands.
When the ball comes near you, you just kick it.
Kick it.
I know. What an advantage for the goalie.
Yeah. The advantage goes to the tallest player because they have the longest legs.
Exactly.
Wow. No, I didn't hear about those rules. So if the ball goes out of bounds, you can't throw it in anymore?
No, it's going to be a kick-in.
Oh,
it's ridiculous.
Oh,
and honestly, at that point, we have friends that have kids on the high school team, and at that point, they don't even want to play.
Oh no, this isn't the game anymore.
Their last year of eligibility, but it's not what it's designed to be.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens, right? I mean, this is a unique time in life, so I'm just gonna. One more hit, one more announcement.
That's the motto of 2020. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, that's right.
We'll see.
All right, Melissa, it's time for a second message from the St. Antoine communities, please.
Yeah, so I am very happy to make a positive, happy announcement about an event that we have coming up on our campus because there's been so much postponed, canceled. This is really surrounding, it's a national event every year. They have National Nursing Home Week and they have National Assisted Living Week, and it's celebrated on a grand level. And this coming week, September 13th to the 18th, is National Assisted Living Week. And the theme for this year's dedicated week is Caring is Essential, A-L, capitalized. And what they're really doing is kind of paying tribute to the staff at assisted living facilities and really acknowledging the work that's put in the last 6 months during this pandemic. And it's really exciting for all of us because we get to put on a party every day for 7 days. So our residents are excited. There's lots of buzz in the building. We've got, it kicks off with Grandparents' Day on Sunday, and so we're doing special visitations all day long so families can come up to the property. We're going to have some special treats and prizes and music playing. We have a Western Day, a 70s Day, a Mustache Day. So there's all these different theme days as we go through the week, but for the first time in a few months, not that we haven't been doing everything we can to kind of create energy and excitement for our residents, but they look forward to this every year. This is where we sort of really step it up a notch and go all out. So I just wanted to share, so if any of our families are listening, we haven't forgotten. We're going to go forward with this year's celebration. It's a little modified, but it's going to be super fun and exciting, and hopefully we'll make a lot of memories this week.
All right there, Melissa. Thank you. And more of the Coffee and program is coming up. We're going to get to the voting that took place yesterday in the state of Rhode Island when we come back.
I'm here with Kara Benjamin of the Benjamin Insurance Agency. What types of insurance do you provide?
If you come see me, Kara, I will help you review and protect the most important assets in your life. We offer protection for personal lines and business lines of insurance in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. My mother, Celeste, will help you plan for retirement and assist you with protecting your family by providing life insurance.
You're in good hands with Allstate and Kara and Celeste Benjamin of the Benjamin Insurance Agency, 125 Eddie Dowling Highway, across from Dowling Village in North Smithfield, 765-5000.
Our business is truly a referral business, and we have built it based on our premier service level and commitment to what we do. If you are looking for personalized service with people who care, that would be us.
Family night has come to Gotta Q Smokehouse Barbecue. Bring the family to Gotta Q every Thursday between 4 and 8 p.m. for a dining experience like no other. Your family can enjoy pulled pork, beef brisket, barbecued chicken on the bone, or a mix of all three. Plus, all family-style meals come with garden salad, a choice of side, and cornbread. Reservations are recommended. Family night every Thursday 4 to 8 at Gotta Q Smokehouse Barbecue in the Sierra Plaza, Mendon Road, Cumberland. Barbecue with an attitude. Gotta Q.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
It's the worldwide sound of OM Radio.
All right, Coffee and on ON, AM and FM. Thanks for joining us this morning. Joe Callahan here with Tim Draper and Melissa Smith. So the big one, the big voting from yesterday in the town of North Smithfield, 3 people going for town administrator.
Yeah.
And one had to be left behind. And then now we move on with the top 2 vote getters.
Yep.
And the top 2 vote getters are Paul J. Zwolinski. He received 292 votes, or 44.9%. Of the vote.
200 votes is 44%. Wow.
Well, it's almost 300.
That's sad.
It is sad.
It's
but
292.
That's consistent, I think, throughout the
And Doug Osier, who was here,
Yeah.
he came in second place. He received 191 votes. That gives him 29.4.
Yep.
The other person who did come into Coffee Inn as well, Paul Jones, received 167 votes. Almost 20 votes just to separate those two.
Yeah.
A little over 25% of the votes. So now it's Paul Zwolinski and Doug Osier
Yeah, I thought
will
Doug
be
was-
for the town administrator job in November.
Yeah, pretty nice young guy.
Doug did it was very nice when he was here and carried himself well and
Yeah.
answered the question. So did Paul Jones, for that matter. I thought he did well. I said,
I
this is
listened
a
to
tough
him
choice.
Yep. Yep.
The other Paul, the one that actually won, couldn't get in here because of scheduling conflicts. But we're we'll try to see what we can do.
So there's no Republican race now. It's just it's a runoff between.
It's nonpartisan.
It's a nonpartisan
in,
because it's
in North Smithfield.
Is it administrator in Smithfield?
Town administrator.
Town administrator.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. So there was no
Yep.
Republican.
So now
Democrat
it's just
thing.
the top 2.
Yep. And so we had not too much going on in Woonsocket. They had just had Representative District 50 Committee and Senatorial District Committee District 20.
Yep.
And congratulations to the people that won.
Town council was. They just have enough people in the town council race to stay in the top 7 or whatever. However that works.
We were. You can look at it both ways, either fortunately or unfortunately.
Yeah.
A number of people signed up to be it, and they said, well, we got so many, we're going to have a primary.
Yep.
If one of you drops out,
Yep.
we won't have to.
Yep.
One dropped out.
Okay.
So they didn't have to do a primary for
So
city
what happens
council
in the
yesterday.
election? How many people do you vote for city council?
7.
Sorry, so 7, and
Yeah.
there's 7 in the race.
No, there's like 14.
Oh, 14.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
So it's the top 14, and you pick.
Yes, and then you
I'm
pick
just
7
not familiar with the
you just
Woonsocket.
pick your top 7
John's
out of
not here to
14.
instruct me on the Woonsocket town city politics.
Yeah, so there you go. They would have had 15.
Okay.
But one did drop out, so now there's 14 going.
Yep.
And in the school committee, 5 slots, 5 people are running.
Yeah. Well,
You
Wow.
You win.
That's basically Cumberland, by the way.
Makes-
There's a lot of that in Cumberland. There's like 2 races I think that are contested. Everything else is congratulations.
Well, that's what happened with David Cicilline.
Yeah.
He won yesterday. He had no
primary
Democrats.
challenge.
He had no primary challenge, and no one on the Republican side
to run
against him. So he won as of yesterday.
Yeah.
Now, on the other
Congratulations.
side, Jim Langevin had a Democratic candidate.
Well, he has a contender, right, on the Republican
and he has
side.
a Republican side,
Yeah.
too. So it's Robert Lancia on the
Yeah,
Republican
is he a
side.
state rep?
I think he's run before because
Yeah.
that name sounds so familiar.
Yeah.
So, but Langevin won, and he defeated. Let's see. No, I can't find his name.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he won and Lancia won yesterday, so they'll go against each other for
that
the
could be
District 2 seat.
That could be an interesting race.
It could be. Langevin is he's been
He's
there for so
entrenched.
long.
I mean, that's what happens
Yeah.
when you get an incumbent. You're
Yep.
entrenched, and it's hard to unseat an incumbent.
That's right.
And you can't really say that Langevin's done anything wrong. I don't know what he's done, but he hasn't done anything wrong. So,
Fabulous either. I know exactly.
Well, he's like, it's the four of them.
yeah,
Between Cicilline and Langevin and Whitehouse and Reed.
Yep.
They're all right down
Right
the
on.
Democratic Party line.
state of Rhode Island.
Click.
Yeah,
Just check it
exactly.
off.
Yep.
That's just what we're doing.
Yep.
So, the big meeting is tonight for the school committee because of North Smithfield knows what they're doing for the beginning of school, and Cumberland knows what they're doing for the beginning of school.
Yep.
Woonsocket does not.
Really, I thought they had to.
They haven't made their decision yet.
Wow. So tonight's the night.
Tonight is the night that, and we'll have it here on Owen Radio, by the way. Tonight's the night the superintendent, Patrick McGee, is going to present here's what we think we should do.
Yep.
And then the school committee will either agree to it or they may not.
Yeah.
It may still be up in the air as of tomorrow.
Is the wind blowing a certain direction?
And no one's. It's funny. Everyone's keeping very close to the vest.
Really?
No one is saying. No one wants to tip their hand.
Well, it's funny when Cumberland did their first vote. The backlash, the explosion on social media
Was like, no, you can't
was
do that.
out of control.
Yeah.
They were shutting social media sites down because they didn't want anyone to comments, and people were getting nasty, which was really just that was unfortunate. Come on,
It
folks.
happens.
We can
So-
all disagree and still be friends, but so then they took another vote, which surprisingly enough went the same way as the first one, which was basically
Okay.
distance learning, and I thought for sure that they might have acquiesced to the whole. But see, that tells me that the schools in Cumberland really do have an issue. There's an air quality issue or a ventilation issue, whatever the real issue, whatever the real problem was from a facility standpoint. That Cumberland does have some, and they're genuine and legitimate concerns. That the school committee was not going to bow to the public pressure that was put on them, and it was a lot of public pressure to stay as a virtual startup. Interesting.
I heard that about the Woonsocket schools. It's a ventilation issue, and there's only certain filters that are going to fit their air ducts, but those air ducts, the filters that you have to buy, a lot of schools have those air ducts. So and there's maybe one or two companies, maybe three that manufacture these. So the back orders are in. Okay, we'll send it to you in a month.
Yeah.
School starts in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You get it in a month because
Yep.
you wait. So. If you read it in today's call, it says that the Dr. McGee will make his proposal. Committee members, the school committee members, they'll discuss the plan, whatever he comes up with. They'll vote on it, but approval is not a given. They want to make sure it depends, whatever the committee members are persuaded to, that the plan is safe. Because he could come in and say, all right, everyone's full in-school learning.
Yeah. I've thought all along.
I don't think he'll say that, but
no. I think that a lot of this has to do with liability. It has to do with everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody wants to take the liability of somebody getting sick and
then getting
potentially
sued.
dying,
And then getting sued.
and then getting sued.
Yeah.
And so everybody wants to take the cautious. But the governor's. It's easy for her. She just says, "You're okay. You're clear to open." So it's off my back. I'm telling you can open. Now you put it on the school committees who have to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And then they don't, and the parents get mad on one way or the other because it's a no-win situation. If you're on any of these school committees,
Yeah, no
right
one's
now,
going to. Someone's
it's
not going
just-
to like the plan.
Yeah. Oh, and they're going to be vocal about it, and it's going to end up on social media, and this is what happens. That's why social media really is a double-edged sword.
It is, and whatever it is, someone's going to say, my child can't do that because
Yep.
A, B, and C.
Yep. I know.
And it says that's my issue.
Yep.
and
And
so
that-
now what are you going to do about it?
So you wonder why nobody
Well,
runs for office.
Yeah, you're right.
Are they still set to open next Monday, even with making the?
Yes.
Virtually.
That's the
Lincoln
governor.
though is sort of a hybrid model. They have kids going into school. They're going to open
Okay.
in person, and I think for some kids hybrid.
All schools in Rhode Island open
Correct.
on Monday.
Correct. For
Okay.
one way or the other, virtual or in person.
You will do something. Mount's
Yeah,
already
just-
going to school.
Fiann's been going to school for
Yeah.
2 weeks.
So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with tonight I'll make an assumption here that they'll go with distance learning at the beginning. Maybe they'll let the younger kids go into school. A lot of them are doing the K through 2. Let them go and get acclimated to the school system. I don't know if they'll have to wear masks or not.
I don't know.
They probably
I think
will.
they do.
Oh, they'll love. The teachers will love that.
Wait, hey, Johnny, that's not the mask I sent you home with this morning. I traded Billy for it.
That's right.
Oh, good.
That's going to happen. Or what happens, let's say, if they go outside for recess, take the mask off, drop it on the ground.
Yeah.
Now it's dirt.
Yeah. Oh, we'll just put it back on.
The boys will do that. That's how we roll.
I heard a story the other day about
Just rinse it out.
A little girl who had a mask that had waffles for breakfast and had maple syrup on the waffles and it was liquid all over her left face. And she put the mask on and she goes, "Mom, the mask smells great. I'm going to wear this all the time." And she's peeling it off her face because the maple syrup is stuck to the inside.
I thought
Oh my God! I'm thinking the opposite. Thinking, "Oh my gosh, that smell all day long."
I thought you were going to say, the maple syrup like dried, and now she's chewing
it
on the mask. Hey, snacks all day. Hey, this is great.
Hey, that's
now, if it gets really, but what happens if it gets we'll get like Indian summer. It'll get really hot.
Yeah, they're going to sweat.
Oh, yeah.
No, well, here come the flies.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna, food.
Yeah, food.
Somewhere,
Food.
and they're not gonna be swarming her.
Well, you just hope that the parents will wash the masks every night. I mean, that would be the thing. So you got to have enough masks. That's the whole. Or you got to get the paper masks, which will fall apart halfway through the day because they're just going to get soaked.
Well, you're gonna spit on it or something like that.
I
Now
know.
it's also going to fall apart. Teachers will have to have extra masks in the classroom.
I think so too. And plenty of PPE.
That the school won't pay for, and I can see teachers shelling money out of their own pockets to have a stash of masks just in case.
As Melissa famously quoted earlier, we'll see.
We'll see. That's right. So stay tuned tonight. It should be a very fascinating school committee meeting tonight in Woonsocket. They've got to be like one of the last communities that has to come out with a plan.
Yeah.
And if you're a parent in Woonsocket, you must be wringing your hands. I got to make plans, and I've got nothing to work with.
Yeah, it must be tough to
for them because if you think about it too, because we talked about this last week, it's not even just like teacher assignments and all those things, but teachers also have their own kids. So they're trying to figure out, do I have to be home? Do I, am I able to send my kid in with their school district? There's like a lot of logistics even to consider for what teachers can come into the building. And I feel like with this short notice, between now to Monday, I think you're right. I think they're going to be virtual. I don't think they can logistically, hit the ground running come Monday with a hybrid model. I just think it's too
soon,
too
late actually.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I don't even know. We still haven't gotten teacher assignments in North Smithfield because this has been going on for a week. They're still trying to iron out who's in, who's not, et cetera, et cetera. There's moving parts every day. I think they're supposed to come out today, but I'm even thinking that's short notice. So if Woonsocket hasn't even made a decision yet, there's no way they can even maybe do classroom placement before Monday. So that might even get delayed.
It might. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
All
we'll
right.
see.
We're going to take a look at the forecast right now, and it's being brought to you by Staples Stores. Today, we have clouds this morning. We are looking at a partly sunny day by this afternoon. The high temperature will be near 83. Tonight, mostly cloudy. There is a chance of some showers and thunderstorms late this evening, almost into tomorrow. Low around 67. Thursday stays cloudy with a chance of showers and thunderstorms. High near 80. Thursday night, cloudy, chance of showers, low of 60. Better on Friday, partly sunny, high 71. Saturday, sunny, high near 72. And currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, we have 67 degrees. School goes on. It's ironic. Staples has everything to start the year right, no matter where school happens, and it all at amazing prices. School on, save on at Staples. So you're remodeling your home, and you want to find just the right flooring. So off you go to DRL Carpet. Why? Because they have the best selection and prices in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. That means you don't have to wait. Plus, it means you can get it installed now. So first you get the best price. Next you get the best service, and you get the best selection. Whether you're looking for carpet, tile, hardwood floors, the place to shop is DRL Carpet. 27 Veterans Way, Woonsocket, next to World War II Veterans Memorial Park. DRL Carpet reminds you there's a big difference between getting the job done and getting the job done right. DRL Carpet of Woonsocket.
fire threatens everything in its path. When it threatens our nation and our communities, we respond. We bring the fight to the front line. The Army National Guard stands ready to face the dangers of Mother Nature and protect our homes and our neighbors. We will always be there when your community needs us the most. Discover more about all the ways you can serve part-time in your community by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Rhode Island Army National Guard. Aired by the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association and this station.
Get down to brass tacks at home with me, Bob Vila, and my tip of the day every day right here.
Bob Vila's Home Improvement Tip of the Day can only be heard on ON, AM, and FM every weekday at 6:50 in the morning. Bob Vila's Home Improvement Tip of the Day is brought to you by Cumberland Kitchen and Bath Design Center. Bob Vila's Home Improvement Tip of the Day on ON Radio. Coffee In on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us this morning. Joe Callahan here with Tim Draper and Melissa Smith. Tim, time for first message from Navigant Credit Union.
You know, Joe, our new sort of a brand refresh that's been going on is talking about ownership. Mm-hmm. Talking about being if you're a customer, you're an owner. If you're an owner, you're a customer of the credit union. We've had some folks say, well, I thought I was a member of the credit union. And I think that's important for folks to know that you are a member of the credit union. And when you open up that first deposit account, you make the transition from being a customer to being a member. Mm-hmm. And it's sort of a nuanced transition, but the reality is, and we've said it all along, that when you become a member of the credit union, if you're a customer and you become a member, you actually do own a piece of the place, like Dave says in his commercials. You have one vote at our annual meeting that happens every year. You're entitled to an equal share, just like the other 107,000 members of the credit union. So it's an important distinction, and it also means that you have a stake in an organization that we believe tries to do as much good in the community as we can do, whether it be for you personally or whether it be for the place that you live and work and play. We're putting a stake in the ground. We're making an investment, and we're doing it on our members' behalf. And as we say, if you want to become a member, make the transition from being a customer to being a member, and we think that that's an important differentiation. All the great products and services that Navigant has always offered, loans, deposit accounts, digital services, as good as anybody's digital services out there. You can work your entire financial lives right from the old phone here. So we encourage you to do that. Stop in to see Amanda and her team up at Park Square, or visit any of the other 19 locations that we have throughout the state, and we're sure that you're going to see the Navigant difference.
All right, Tim, very good. Just taking a look at other things that are going on in the news. Front page of today's call. All right. When you run a business, the last thing you want is someone in a vehicle to crash into your business.
That would be frowned upon.
Wouldn't that be just a bummer? It's just one of the last things they expect. And that's what happened here in the city of Woonsocket. A man allegedly, after fleeing, he's fleeing the police, and he crashed into Moonlight Restaurant, which is over on Rathbun Street in here in the city of Woonsocket. Yeah. Just, oops.
Yeah.
I think it was at nighttime, because I remember saying, as usual with the phone, things start popping up on social media. Oh, someone crashed into Moonlight Pizza.
Well, you know what's sad about that is now the guy that owns Moonlight Pizza's insurance has to cover all of that.
That's right.
It's probably not the guy that crashed in the building with their lack of insurance.
And there's a picture on in today's call on A3, and you can see the damage that's done near the foundation of the building. That took out quite a piece there, and it will the majority will be his insurance. That'll have to take care of that, and that means, will his rates go up?
I don't know. Will they keep them? Maybe. Will they drop them? You never know. Sometimes.
After we fix it, and then we drop you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happens. That's too bad.
It is too bad. Not that I crashed into a building, but it happened with me with my car insurance, and I won't name the company.
Yep.
But it was between my wife and I. We had a spate of time where rocks kept crashing into the windshield.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had like three, two on my car, one on hers, 3 windshields replaced within a 9-month period.
Yep.
Drop.
Well, what's funny?
I said, but that's what we use. That's what you're there for. And then when you're putting in too many claims, you're out of here.
So I heard
Wow.
the story last night. It's funny you should say that. I heard a story last night. I was at a friend's house. Their daughter has a brand new Volvo XC, one of the SUVs, right?
Okay.
It's probably a year and a half old. And she's had 4 windshields cracked. And it's
just from driving down the road.
Apparently,
and
it's something
rocks?
to do with her car.
Oh, it's the car.
They think
Okay.
it's the car. Now, of course, Volvo won't admit that,
Well,
right?
no.
But she's claimed on her insurance, she's claimed the windshields because she had 3 times they dropped her too.
Yeah.
It's like they give you a certain amount, and then they just let you go.
If you're going to give us 3 claims in a year, we're not keeping you
Yeah.
around because this is just going to continue. At
I
least
had,
I think.
I had a rocket my windshield, but I'm not going to claim it right now. We have another issue going on that we're dealing with.
Years of that, yes.
And it's funny. I've called like the windshield places,
Yeah.
and they say, "So what's your insurance company?" And I say, "Well, let's wait a minute. How much will it cost if I pay it out of pocket?" And they're like, "What?
Yeah.
You don't want to pay this out of pocket?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, tell me what it is." And then they tell you, and they go, "No, you're right. I don't want to pay it out of pocket." It's like, That's why you go. That's why we go through the insurance company. I go, but I don't
And that's
know.
why the insurance company drops you after 3.
That's right. So just something to be aware of. Hopefully that doesn't happen, by the way, to the Moonlight Restaurant because it's not their fault.
No, that's the
And,
problem.
If someone crashes into your building after they're fleeing the police, what's he being? He's got a litany of charges. Let's see what else. What do we got? Eluding police, driving under the influence, possession of a controlled substance, resisting arrest, possession of an unlawful knife.
Yeah.
Third offense, driving on a suspended license. And he's a fugitive from justice from Attleboro.
He's probably got insurance on his car. He's probably carrying auto insurance, I would imagine.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure he
As I
does,
say,
yes.
tongue firmly planted in cheek.
I'm sure he does. Yes. So that's too bad. The other, sad news is that we had the story last week. Those 7 guys from Providence. 6 from Providence and 1 from Seekonk.
Yeah.
Where they posted that video of the assault on the girl that happened last December, and they were looking for the 8th person.
Yeah.
He turns himself in.
Yeah.
They must have been closing in.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. It makes you wonder. I'll have to ask Bob Lauder tomorrow. He's a lawyer.
Yeah.
Is it
Why
one of
would
those
you
things?
turn yourself in?
No, not that. But is it like they do on TV when they say it'll be better for you if you turn yourself in when it comes to sentencing time?
Maybe.
Instead of 20 years, you're going to get 10. I don't know, 10. Let's say. Now they say that on TV. Does that really happen?
I want you to ask Bob because I'm going to listen to him.
I want to know. Do you know the?
Serious stuff, though.
See, no one knows the answer, right? I don't know the answer. But he did turn himself in.
I'm not a lawyer, but I slept at Holiday Inn Express last night. So.
And it amazes me because what do the police do if you show up at the police station and say, "I'm here to turn myself in"?
Have a seat.
Well, who are you? Yeah,
sit in the waiting area. We'll be with you in a minute.
Who are you?
Put these on.
And,
handcuffs.
And what are you turning yourself in for?
Yeah, that's probably the first thing.
Do we even know about the crime?
Oh, yeah.
And I wonder if people go in and try to turn themselves in and they didn't do it. I wonder if people looking for attention or I don't know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if it's wintertime, maybe they're looking for a meal.
Yeah, and a warm place to stay.
Place to sleep. So I don't know. But he just said he turned himself in. You hear it on the big high-profile celebrity white-collar crime things. They turn
Lori
themselves.
Loughlin.
That's right. They turn themselves in with their lawyer.
Yeah, of course.
Or the lawyer makes the negotiations of when they're going to turn themselves in. It doesn't say he turned himself in with his lawyer.
I bet it does function like that, though. It seems to me like that's the way it functions.
Yeah. Okay. He and the 8th person. He was a resident of the city of Providence as well, and it does amaze me in the times of phones.
Yeah.
Especially the younger crowd.
Yeah.
That film everything they do, even though no one says, no one says, hey, this is illegal. Maybe we shouldn't do this.
Well, you watch just
maybe we shouldn't film it.
Watch the news when there's any event going on, and look at the people standing there with their cell phones and their
everybody
video
gets their
cameras.
phones out. Yeah,
everybody's got them.
Yeah.
So, and then they post stuff online in very short little, abbreviated and selected segments.
Yeah, here's a 10-second clip.
Yeah, nothing's in context.
Right.
So you just don't know. I mean, and that's the problem with a lot of I think what's happening with law enforcement is there's a lot of things that are out of context when these videos are being shot, but that's not what the news media wants to pick up. right? The news media wants the sensational story. So it's unfortunate. You wish that the news media would become a little more, I guess, I don't want to say responsible, but
you're funny.
responsible.
You're funny, Tim.
I know. I'm very naive. I get it.
The
I get
news
it.
media to be responsible. That's a
Yeah,
good one.
I know. I know.
No, it's all about the ratings.
It's all about the ratings.
And who gets it first.
I know. It's sad.
It
It's
is.
sad. That that's the way
Doesn't mean if we get it right.
Yeah, who cares? We'll retract it someday, maybe.
We'll apologize later.
Maybe.
It always remember. It was the Patriots and Deflategate, and ESPN came out with the story
Right away.
that was wrong,
Totally false.
and they apologized at 3 a.m.
Yep.
Well,
Oops.
Yeah, sorry, we were wrong.
Yeah. Well, it's because they had an
Moving
agenda
on.
that they wanted to move.
Yeah.
And I think that in a lot of news cases, there's agendas that they all say we don't have an agenda. We're fair and balanced or whatever it might be. And I think there's agendas there, and I think they slant things and stories the way they want to slant them.
You're right. Now, and this was done years ago. Now, what year? I'm going to the trivia question now. What year did the movie The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Richard Dawson come out?
Early
Can you remember?
80s? Early 80s?
Does that sound about right, Melissa?
Well, if it was early 80s, I was a toddler, so I'm not really
Okay. Well, no.
Thanks for bringing that up.
It can't be that. It would be after the Terminator, and that was around 84.
All right, then I was around for that, so probably.
So it's after that
I'll pull a John Ward. Let me look it up.
Yeah, I'll look it up. And but the
interwebs.
reason I bring it up, it's a dystopian society in the future. Arnold Schwarzenegger has been branded a bad cop, and he said he killed all these people, and then they go on with the rest of the show. The movie's actually a lot of fun, by the way, to watch, and it's basically a big cartoon as you watch it. But then it shows the
87.
media. Okay, 87. It shows the media manipulating the audience.
Yeah.
And we're only going to show you what we want to show you. Here he is killing all these people.
Yeah.
And then if you watch the movie, hate to be a spoiler, but if you watch the whole movie, here's the raw footage.
Yeah.
And it shows what really happened. He didn't really kill him. He was trying to stop it, and somebody else did all the killing, but they framed him.
Yeah.
So it's almost kind of what's happening now. Let me show you 30 seconds of what happened. I'm not going to show you the 45 seconds of what really happened and what set this off.
I think that's why there's a lot of distrust of media in the general population today. I think people see, they just see the way the media can manipulate a story and present it in the way they want to present it. So, and I'm not saying Donald Trump is right with fake news, but essentially I think that's what he's saying, is they're making the story to fit the narrative that the news media wants it to fit.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really presenting facts the way Edward R. Murrow and Walter Cronkite and those guys this is what happens.
Yeah.
Both sides, this is what happened, make your decision.
Mm-hmm.
This is, we're gonna show you a story the way we want to show it to you, so that maybe we influence the way you think about something.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's hard to say who's telling you the truth and who's not.
Last week on the radio, did we talk about the Great Hack? Did I bring that up in conversation sort of along those lines? Have you heard of that documentary that was out on Netflix? I think it was last year, but I just saw it recently.
The Great No, I don't. We didn't bring it up.
So the whole premise of that documentary has to do with that whole scandal between Facebook and Cambridge Analytical data. Do you remember that coming out about a year and a half ago, where essentially this data company was using Facebook data to analyze behaviors and trends with regards to politics, and the whole scandal surrounding Donald Trump and the Russian ties and influence on the election. This company, Cambridge Analytica, was being charged with meddling in the election and taking Facebook user data to persuade those categorically undecided people.
Mm-hmm.
It's
serving up those stories.
I mean, kind of going along the lines with what Tim's saying with news outlets, this is that social media piece the same way. It's manipulating what you're looking at, so how they can control your feed and what imagery you're looking at. It's very fascinating, and it opened my eyes quite a bit to how I look at news stories and imagery that comes with the news stories. What is the headline photo attached to the story?
Mm-hmm.
Or when you're scrolling through your Facebook feed, like what articles are pushed to the top? What are you looking at first? It's all manipulated. And it's just forcing those that have watched the documentary, like myself, it forces you to maybe think outside of the box and step away for a minute and not just believe everything that you're reading in front of you.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely all being manipulated. Very, very concerning, I feel like, but fascinating documentary if you haven't seen it and you're looking for a good, 2-hour shock factor. It's very interesting.
All right. Tim, it's time for a second message from Navigant Credit Union, please.
Well, gang, we're coming close to what we would consider the traditional end of the home buying frenzy. As the fall approaches and we close out the summer, we're finding that things are slowing down a little bit. So now's a good time to get in there and if you're looking to make a change in your housing status, if you want to move to your first house, you want to upgrade, you want to downgrade, whatever it might be, Navigant Credit Union has a mortgage for you. Everything from our adjustable rates and fixed rate mortgages to jumbo to VHA to FHA. First time home buyer program is fantastic, and our construction loans are great as well. The one feature of our construction loan that makes it unique is that it's a one-time closing. So if you go out and you start your project, you're going to close on that mortgage before the construction begins. Disbursements will all take place, and at the end, it will convert to a traditional mortgage that you had already set up at the beginning of the process. So one closing, one time around. Don't waste your time. Come to Navigant Credit Union and take a look at all of our different mortgage products. You can do that online at navigantcu.org to our mortgage lending center. We're happy to even start the process right there for you. Give our mortgage originators a call. Give us a call. At 233-4700. We're here for all your lending needs.
All right, Tim, thank you. And the Coffee and program will continue. Don't go anywhere.
Right now is the time for a tune-up on your vehicle. Charlie's Tire and Service Center reminds everyone that they are an authorized dealer of name brand tires like BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Michelin, and Cooper tires. They also offer the best in mechanical repairs and service. You can't beat Charlie's Tire, 825 South Main Street, Bellingham. Charlie's Tire also offers the best in truck and high-performance tires, and they accept all major credit cards. So for top service at fair prices, for tires or mechanical repairs, it's Charlie's Tires. Remember, to get a tune-up on your vehicle, to keep your car running smooth, call Charlie's Tires, 508-883-1211.
There are so many great reasons to visit Missy's Family Restaurant. Here are the top 3. 1 is a great breakfast. Missy's will fill you up and get you ready for the day. 2 is a great lunch. Missy's is just the place to go for an affordable, tasty lunch. 3 is great portions. At Missy's, you'll love their big portions and big taste. Missy's Family Restaurant is open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Judy and the staff welcome you. And remember, please wear a face covering when entering Missy's Family Restaurant, 801 Clinton Street, Woonsocket.
This is Norman Brown.
And I'm Dave Koz, and this weekend on the Dave Koz Radio Show, guitarist Norman Brown is my special in-studio guest. He'll be here in our studios to catch us up on what he's been doing in his world and all the things going on, which is a lot. We probably need to extend the show. Listen this weekend to the Dave Koz Radio Show. We'll see you then.
Hi, fans of smooth jazz. Join us for the Dave Koz Radio Show every Sunday on ON Radio, 1240 AM, 99.5 FM. The Dave Koz Radio Show can be heard twice every Sunday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., and again 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The Dave Koz Radio Show is brought to you by the Carew Investment Group. It's the Dave Koz Radio Show every Sunday right here on
ON, AM, and FM.
All right, Coffee In on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan here with Tim Draper, and Melissa Smith is here as well. And it was just talking about manipulation of the media. And it just comes down to what do you believe? And look at this latest story about Trump calling the vets suckers and losers. And, from what I read, I go, boy, it's really just split 50-50. Do you believe what The Atlantic wrote, or you just don't believe what The Atlantic wrote?
Well, so John Bolton, who wrote the book on Trump, right, that clearly doesn't like Donald Trump based on his book, I think he said flat out that statement did not happen. And he doesn't like Donald Trump.
Wow. Okay.
So he said, I was in the room when they said that it happened, and I can tell you that he never said what he said.
Okay.
His trip was clearly canceled because of weather.
Weather, right. Yeah.
And anything else is not accurate. And I believe that's what he said. I saw that on a news report yesterday. So I tend to side with Bolton because I know Bolton doesn't like him, and he doesn't like Bolton.
If someone doesn't like him and says, "No, I didn't say that,"
then
you gotta kind of believe that.
Well, you would think, but
all right.
But then again, Donald Trump called out John McCain too, but see that was in the heat of an election, and I do think that that he says crazy things during those times that fit his narrative.
Okay,
he's no prize. The president, trust me. I'm not saying he's the greatest guy on the planet, that's for sure. But
all right, Melissa, we got a new product for you. Oh, it was so funny. Yesterday we were talking about have you been in the cereal aisle lately? and have you been in the cereal aisle lately, Melissa?
Of course.
And just because now Little Debbie, they're coming out with like Little Debbie oatmeal cookie cereal.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Wow. And because the one I saw over the weekend was the Hershey Kisses one, which is right on the lowest level.
Yeah.
Right down where the 2-year-olds can see it. Ooh, chocolate kisses. And I said, there's just way too much choice. In the cereal aisle. I go, there's miles of it, it seems.
We had a box of chocolate Cheerios in the house that my son was eating before he went up to college. Well, there was a little bit left. I was in a rush to get to school, get to work yesterday, so I grabbed a bowl of it.
How was it?
It was awful. It was just not good. I mean, it was delicious in its sweetness, but
sure.
Just I felt getting fat. My arteries closing up as I ate that. It was just craziness.
Go ahead, Melissa.
I have to laugh at you because I wish I were in the studio with you because I can see Tim's face right now. But I have to say, there are certain cereals that are guilty pleasures for me that bring me back to, the college years, my childhood years, like a Lucky Charms. That's like a comfort measure cereal. But, yeah, the kids' cereals the cereals that are being targeted to the kids today are just awful. They don't even taste, there's not even an ounce of grain in them. It is just pure corn-covered, syrupy mixes. And, but we laugh in our house all the time. Our kids love muffins, and I'm like, muffins today? Muffins are just essentially a cupcake for breakfast. So there's really no. I try to make myself feel better when I go to Dave's Marketplace and I have like the Morning Glory type, carrot cake and raisin mixture ones, but a big dollop of cream cheese frosting on it. So breakfast foods are definitely no longer quote-unquote breakfast foods. They're not the bowl of Cheerios with bananas like, most of us growing up, that kind of wholesome cereal.
Once they started with the chocolate chip muffins, it's downhill
it's all
from
over
here. It's all over now.
Well, this is how sad my life is. To bring me back to when I was young, my youth, and I remember my staying with my grandparents, and the cereal that brings me back to my youth is shredded wheat. Because that's what they ate, and that's all I was offered at the breakfast table was these big blocks of shredded wheat, which we crumpled up and put in a bowl.
And
of course, I threw sugar on it because that's what you had to put on it. But that is my childhood memory of cereal.
The best thing that they've done to that cereal since that time, because I have that same kind of memory at my grandparents' house, I'm just going to laugh along with you, is they have the mini wheat version now. So you don't even have to break them or crumble them yourself anymore. They're just little tiny crunchy yumminess. And so that's another one.
I love it. It's exactly what it is. It's deliciousness.
It is.
Melissa,
and you still have wheat in the name.
They've decided to start selling the Lucky Charms marshmallows. Just the marshmallows by themselves.
Really?
Yes. So you don't even have to bother with the cereal.
They had
go right to the marshmallows.
Crunchy texture to the outside of them. They weren't even like soft.
Well, they're like in little baggies. You can bring them for lunch.
They had non-nutritive cereal varnish on them.
But here's something else for the kids, Melissa. There's a new way to blow out birthday candles amid the pandemic. Yes, a Florida dentist has invented the Top-It Cake Shield.
Oh, my God.
So you put the shield on top of the cake. I guess there's holes. Yeah, it looks like a see-through box. The cake gets sealed inside, and the candles are put into the flat top instead of the cake itself. The creator says this can help prevent germs from landing on the icing of the cake. They'll just land on the box.
This is nothing like watching a little kid blow out candles and spit all over the cake that you're about to eat. I know. It's awesome.
So now the box will come in 3 sizes. And is said to be made from FDA-approved recycled plastic.
Can I just make very easy solution to that moment is have cupcakes and put a candle on the cupcake with the person's birthday. Don't buy a silly plastic box that some guy is marketing to make a killing on. That's insane.
Well, my wife came up with an idea. She put 2 little votive candles. My son and daughter-in-law had celebrate their birthdays. They're one day apart, so we celebrated on Sunday. Got them an ice cream cake, and instead of putting candles in the cake, she got 2 little votive candles, put them in front of each of them, and that was what they had to blow out. So they didn't even go near the cake. We left the cake in the
plastic box. That's
all right.
Ridiculous.
My daughter's birthday is coming up at the end of the month. She has already requested a cake, no candles.
There you go.
She's not a big fan of fire.
Oh, okay.
And she's worried about the smoke alarm going off, and then she doesn't like sometimes the candles wax drips down onto the cake.
Yeah, that's the best part about it.
She doesn't want any part of that. So we're going, all right, no candles on the cake this year for you. All right, there you go.
Well, you know what? Actually, we never even spoke today about the California fires and what sparked that. Did you read the story on the investigation?
What sparked it?
One of
them. No, I'm not. I hadn't heard.
There was a gender reveal party.
Oh no! Yeah. Now that sounds familiar.
Yeah, somebody had a.
So what was the part? Usually, gender reveal parties are like balloons and breaking or piñatas. So was one involved fire?
I guess there's some contraption now that you can buy, and you like pop a can, and there's like puffing smoke or whatever. It's like a little pyrotechnic moment.
Okay, and what it floated away and just came down and started a fire.
It just the way the wind was blowing, they said that the couple may be charged, and it could end up with jail time, obviously, because look at the damage that's been done. Which I can't even imagine as a pregnant woman having, just made an innocent, naive. I mean, but of course, people are saying how stupid are they, et cetera, and I get it. Like, why do you even need to have gender reveal parties anymore? I don't understand that.
That's the new millennial thing to do.
I guess. I'm hoping it's a fad and it just goes away.
It's Gen X. It's interesting that the temperature out in California over the last weekend was 110 degrees during the day. No, I don't care how dry the heat is. That's hot, man. Let me put beat in the oven. And so my cousins who live out there, we were having a family Zoom on Sunday. She was saying they don't even leave the house. The 4 of them just sit in the house and have the air conditioner on. They play games and stuff like that. It is just
too hot to go outside.
Yeah.
How can you? And even like Colorado went from. I have friends that are out in Colorado,
snowed.
And they're saying like high 90s over the weekend, and then it dropped to the 20s last night. They have like a half a foot of snow.
Can you imagine how fast you could be outside and feel the temperature change?
Yeah,
that is insane.
Literally feel it change.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. I'm people may know I'm a big Jimmy Buffett fan. He was supposed to play in Colorado.
Really?
This weekend at that large amphitheater,
the Red Rocks? Yeah.
They said, imagine going out and listening to Margaritaville in your shorts and your Hawaiian shirt in 30 degrees, it's snowing out.
That tailgate would look significantly different.
A lot, very, very, very different. What's that?
Jimmy Buffett, big fan. I've been to several of his shows, even went last year in Mansfield. But
me too.
Over the years, I gotta tell you, it hasn't quite been as good. It's definitely not the same show it used to be.
Yeah.
Have you gone recently?
No. I was there last year.
Oh, you were? And you felt it was okay?
Well, yes. I was there for the whole experience.
Right.
Tailgate before, the after. Yeah.
Yeah. So the fun in the parking lot beforehand is amazing. Although it is turning so adult.
Oh yeah, it is.
You really have got to think about whether or not you want to bring your kids.
Oh yeah,
because it's getting.
Oh yeah, I definitely did not. I considered it, but nope. It was a group of adults, but it's just not. It reminds me of the last time I saw Neil Diamond, which was probably. Oh, yeah. I like a lot of performers that my parents love. Whatever they played growing up, I still to this day love them and listen to them, and we'll go see them in live if I can. So he hasn't performed for like 5 or 6 years. I want to say maybe the last time I saw Neil Diamond was about 10 years ago, because he's obviously very sick now.
Mm-hmm.
But it just, you could tell there was a little tide shifting. And I felt that way with Jimmy last year.
Well, he's like 70-something, isn't he, Jimmy Buffett?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But he'll be back